pathetic.
Yeah.
Okay, so first I'm just going to ask, like, super, like, like basic questions.
Yeah, like, who I am and what I do.
Yeah, actually, are you cool with having your last name in it?
Yep, that's fine.
So could you, it's Lila,
Yeah,
right?
so Lila is Lila, and then Cohen, Cohen.
Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite color?
Red. My favorite color is red.
Awesome. Do you have a favorite tree?
Well, my trail name was Tree as a child, but...
Wait, that's so radical.
Well, I don't have a favorite tree, but I just put cedar siding on my house.
Okay.
So can I say cedar?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Do you, like your age?
I am 39 years old.
Okay. Occupation?
I am a trauma surgeon.
Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
Do you have a favorite song?
Ooh. Well, do I have a favorite song? Probably like the Jewish lullabies that I grew up with, like hearing like a temple as a kid. Yeah, any of the like temple songs.
That's that's nice.
Yeah, they call them hymns, and they don't have any words, but just like the Jewish hymns, and some of them are in Yiddish actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you said your trail name was Tree, but do you have any other trail names?
Then that was when I was a child hiking the 4,000 footers, and then I took a year off after high school and thru hiked the Appalachian Trail.
Whoa.
And my trail name was Lila Beth.
Okay.
Which is my real name, but I was just very insistent that be my trail name as well.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I sign my name, like in the registers, I just sign it Lila Beth, all one word.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah. There's a 7-year-old who was hiking today. I gave her a trail name today. It was Tumble Bear, because she does gymnastics and she really liked bears. So I called her Tumble Bear.
I love
It seems
bears.
to have stuck.
I love bears.
She was really cute. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. And these are like the more juicy questions.
Okay.
So I have a bunch, but I'm only going to ask you like 3 or 4.
Okay.
So it shouldn't take that long. So you spent like a lot of time hiking in New Hampshire.
I have.
Yeah. So what's like the most meaningful thing you've learned like in the Whites?
Great question. Probably that I can do anything I set my mind to, and that people are kind.
That's really awesome. I totally agree. When we were doing rounds, we were talking to this group of people, and Cindy, she had just like completed her 48, and it was just
fun.
like talking with them. It was like I feel like we're just a big family.
Yeah.
You know?
People are good. People are kind.
Yeah. That's awesome. That is a very good thing to learn.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're also on SAR in Pemi,
I am.
right?
I'm on Pemi SAR.
Okay. Also, thank you for that.
No.
Do you have any like tips for hikers in the Whites, or like things that you wish you could tell people before they hike here?
I think it already gets said a lot, but just respect your environment and respect your fellow hikers. Yeah. But that's like the usual stuff.
Yeah.
I think we often think of other countries as having all the beauty, like the beautiful sights, but actually we have quite a bit here in the White Mountains. You just have to work a little harder to go get it. But yeah, still just respect your environment and your fellow hikers and non-hikers.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Do you have a favorite season, and why?
Well, I probably love fall and winter the best. I love winter hiking because there's nobody else around, and I can be all by myself and not see any other humans, so I love that. And the fall is just really beautiful. There's no bugs, the trees are out, it's cool, it's like, and crispy. I know winter's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so probably fall and winter.
Yeah. I love winter. It's like, it's so quiet, but it's also like the most alive, I feel like.
Yeah.
You just don't see it.
Yeah.
How did you get into the outdoors?
I hiked Lafayette when I was 5 years old, and Holly Thompson, who is a AMC volunteer, that name might be familiar.
Yeah, that is.
She's been around for a very long time. She met me on top of Mount Lafayette, and I think I was a little tired, and I actually think she carried me a little bit of the way down to the hut. So I guess I didn't hike all the way down. But we met her at the hut, and that was my first 4,000 footer, and she just made my experience, she was a volunteer at the time,
Whoa.
she just made my experience so awesome
Wait,
that...
how old were you?
I was 5 years old.
Oh my
and
God.
she made my experience so awesome that I informed my parents that we were going backpacking, we were going to hike the 4,000 footers, and I was going to hike the Appalachian Trail. And sure enough, we started
When
hiking
you were 5.
when I was 5 years
Oh
old,
my God.
but because of Holly. And Holly's husband is John. They're both volunteers. And sure enough, like 2 weeks later, at age, I think then I turned 6, because my birthday is in July. I turned 6. My brother was 4. And my parents took us backpacking up to Garfield. Quite a hike for a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. We loved it. And then we hiked all the 4,000 footers, like starting at ages 6 and 4. We hiked all the 4,000 footers, finished a few years later. And on my very last 4,000 footer, I ran into Holly, which was so awesome.
Whoa, that's like
On the
totally
very
meant
last
to be.
at Zealand Hut, went in, and then we've run into Holly and John like many times throughout the last 25 years.
Whoa.
And actually, there was one time, I think it was like 10 years ago, Holly was at a hut and she was like telling the story of how she met me when I was 5, and then, you know, she saw me on the last 4,000 footer and how she carried me on her back, and she's like telling the story to Hut, and then like I walked in the door with my mother,
God.
like as she's telling the story. I think that's a Gale head. It's all written down.
Oh my God, that's gnarly.
So yeah, that was definitely like the most meaningful because she had this incredible experience. She
No,
just made it a
totally.
great experience.
Yeah.
And so you never know like how something simple
Yeah.
like carrying a 5-year-old who you don't know for a few minutes on your shoulders is going to have like an
Yeah.
awesome impact on their life.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, Holly and John, I feel like they are probably no longer volunteers because it's been a long time.
Yeah. It
if I was-
sounds really familiar.
Yeah,
though.
they do stuff and maybe lower down, maybe not at the huts anymore, but they're incredible people. Like,
Yeah.
really incredible people.
If I run into them, I'll be
Yeah,
like,
you
hey.
tell them Lila. Yeah, they'll remember. I think they'll remember. Yeah.
Okay.
Good questions.
So I feel like you might not be able to answer this question.
Okay.
But when you're like away from the mountains, how do you remind yourself of it?
Well, I did a lot of my medical training in Florida, and there are no mountains in Florida. So I would just visit every chance I got, and I would always just look for the closest thing to it. So that meant being outside or running, well, there's no hills in Florida, running uphill on the treadmill.
Yeah.
Or I got into sailing because I was outside. So yeah, I think I would just always find the however hiking makes me feel, I would look for the activity that made me feel the closest to that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can kind of live off that until you can go to the mountains again.
Totally.
Yeah, but I definitely moved home from Florida to New Hampshire because I missed the mountains. 100%. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Whenever I told you this before, but like I go to school 2 hours south here, and like the amount of homesickness I have is like ridiculous.
Yeah. The mountains are good for your soul. And once
Yeah.
you know that, it's hard to go back. You know, it's hard to be without them once you know that they're good for your soul. Yeah.
It's such a beautiful place. I feel like I've like grown up in them.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so this was your first time on Tuckerman?
Yeah, I'm not
That's
sure
crazy.
why. Having hiked like every inch, not quite, I've never gridded officially, but having hiked quite a bit in the Whites, I'm not sure why I've never been to Tuckerman's, but I've never been to Tuckerman's. That ridge up there I've hiked for sure.
Really?
That top of the ridge, because I like Glen Boulder Cliff Trail, come over that way. I think we went down Davis Path, like,
Wow.
but I've never been in here, and I've never hiked down into here.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
it's beautiful.
you did hike down though, right?
Today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Did
started
you-
Edmonds Path today.
Okay.
So I hiked,
Isn't that like really far?
I don't know, we hiked up Eisenhower, then we
Oh,
hiked
okay.
over
Okay.
Franklin, Monroe, Lakes, and down Tuckerman's.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't, we didn't start till 10, so
Okay.
it couldn't have been that far.
Okay. Did you have a favorite part coming down?
Today?
Where you like, felt like really connected to the trailer?
Yes.
Oh.
I did actually. There is a spot towards the top of that waterfall where you can get down just below it, and you sort of like, so you're probably like a fifth of the way down the waterfall, and I just sort of sat there and watched the water.
Yeah.
And there's this area where the water just sort of like comes off the rock and like into the oblivion. And I thought that was really cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
I love watching the river just like run on the rocks.
Yeah.
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 That's awesome. That was like literally all of the questions basically.
That was great. You have some nice questions.
Thank you.
You have some really nice questions. I'm curious what other people's answers were. I hope you'll put all this together.
I will. My favorite one I've actually, you're my second interview. So.
Great.
My favorite one was when I asked, like, how do you remind yourself of the mountains? They said, leave and go to the mountains. I was like, okay, that was really strong.
Go visit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to the mountains.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What a cool project.
Thank you.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I got to see you recording.